So if someone is out there and they're in Uganda and they want to work as a nurse in the UK, how can you advise them? How much salary can someone expect on average if they're working as a nurse? And is it enough to live in UK? So if you have your papers from Nassarod, please don't bother.
Come and say also them they are masawo bichi, but although you may be able to kangambe in Uganda, no, because it's other cheap apply because you're in Uganda, it's fine. Now you reach a point, there's shortage, there's a lot of shortage. It's out there, it's not me who say
so if you're out there and you've just started working in the NHS recently, don't miss this opportunity. Does that mean it's easier if someone wants to work as a nurse, they can as well try there than England?
Someone starts a process, they keep quiet. Then when they reach a bump, that's when they're like, oh, by the way, and they're so far in the process, you don't even know how to start. There is racism and discrimination. Wherever you're going, just know you're probably not going to be welcomed on the red carpet.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the president of the Ugandan Nurses and Midwives Association in the UK. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Oh, hi, Sisi. Thank you, and welcome, everyone.
I first met Elizabeth at the British Ugandan Doctors Association dinner almost 2 years ago now. I last met you in person at the Ugandan Nurses and Midwives Association annual
AGM and anniversary. Yeah,
it was the AGM and anniversary 1 year ago in London, and I know that you have the AGM coming up again in Oxford this time around. So maybe you first start by telling us that if you're a Ugandan nurse in the UK and you happen to be watching this, please listen to the next bit. Elizabeth, tell us.
Now, yeah, thank you, Sisi. Yes, and greetings from the Uganda Nurses and Midwives Association, UNMA. Everyone is, really excited. We are gearing up for our third AGM and anniversary celebration. It's going to be hosted by our Oxford cluster. So we have 4 clusters. And so we are looking forward. So save the date. It is on 15th of July, 2023. Have a look on our website, how you can get your ticket. It's going to be exciting. We've got presentations, live artists from Uganda, fresh, Sisi. So you can also come along. We've got a 3-course meal dinner set. And the theme this year is a continued theme for us, which is diaspora contribution to strengthening healthcare systems. So you cannot miss it. So go on our website, www.unma.org.uk.
I'll link it in the description below as well. And I think you really should attend. I feel like it was so much fun. I attended last year and it was so much fun. And it's such a nice feeling like of community and you're not by yourself. And I feel like we have a lot of Ugandan nurses in the UK. But if you're a Ugandan nurse in the UK and you're not in the association, you better sign up. Why should someone join your association if you're a Ugandan nurse out there? Like, what are the advantages?
Well, the benefits of joining UNMA are quite diverse. But as our mission statement says, we are a professional body, really here to link up in networking, advocacy, lobbying. We have actually done quite a few lobbying behind the scenes with other diaspora organizations. And in regard to networking, we are now part of a consortium of 32 nursing and midwifery organizations in the UK. So we are recognized by the National Health Service as a very, unique link to, Black and ethnic minority healthcare workers, or nurses and midwives in this case, but also for career development. We have a lot to give and a lot of resources within our CC. We do learning webinars, we do workshops, we're hopefully starting to do conferences. But also it is something that I think it was ready for us to be part of a group of, like-minded individuals working and living in the United Kingdom. And given the challenges we faced, it was time to come together. And just briefly, we formed at the back end of the second wave of the pandemic when we were getting many stories of so many of our colleagues, not just Ugandan, but Black healthcare dying and, being mistreated on the front line. So we came up to launch in 2020, very, very difficult time, but it was very important to get a support system, in the community. So there's quite a few benefits and discounts as well. We need discounts. But we have got, all this information is also on our website. Put the link into the chat.
And we'll put it
to
on
say
the screen also.
This is what you'd benefit from being part of the association. And why not?
Why not? I think really it's more of why not. Like, obviously, it's so much better. Who wouldn't want to be part of like your own people? Because there are a lot of Nigerians, for example, and I feel like Nigerians usually work together much more than us Ugandans. And I think our only problem is really just finding each other. For me, in my opinion, that is it. Just because we are less. But if you find a fellow Ugandan,
no, not really.
Are we?
We're quite many. No, I think it's because the NAJ, the Nigerian Charitable Association for Nurses and Midwives, was set up way beyond us. They've been here for a good 23 years. So for them, they came together and they had started working together, whereas most of the other associations have actually just been launched, and so it feels like, okay, are we okay to work? It's something new. Are we okay to work together? We do very good socials, believe you me. If there's a party, I'm sure you'll be there. But now we are going into that professional space of how do we utilize our professional skills, better ourselves, not just here, but also back home, So for me, it was because, and to be honest, there are so many, my colleagues, Ugandans, who are already running different initiatives back home, even here. I think of Justin, who is doing MBS, Mind, Body, and Soul, up in Liverpool. She's our Liverpool cluster lead, so she was already doing something there, but, individually because of her passion and all that. So, but now when we come together, I think we have a bigger impact. We have one voice, again, like I say, you are recognized. And also these are, benefits of being a diaspora, So yeah. So I think not just the Nigerians, the Cameroonians, the Ghanaians, the Jamaican ones, those are long-standing associations. So they've been here quite, like the Jamaican has been here 40 years. And this is being here from the Windrush generation. And again, they came together to support each other. So I think now when you think about the very new associations.
So young.
Yeah, we are babies. We are only 3 years old. But yeah, we're getting there. We'll get there.
No, I think it's amazing, and like better late than never. And also, like your motto says, we are stronger together. So really,
strength in unity. Yeah,
strength in unity. So how can someone join if they wanted to join and they've just heard about it today? They come to our website.
Oh, for UNAMCA?
Yes.
For UNAMCA? Okay, so again, maybe I should have done it some justice to talk about our vision and mission, because that kind of encompasses, who we are and what we do. But to break it down on the membership, we have 3 categories of membership. So we have the one that we call full, which is for nurses and midwives registered on the NMC register. So the second class of membership is for our student nurses and midwives. And that is the second category. But then also we have our, we call them our retired generals, so these are nurses and midwives who have, retired, but because we need mentorship, we need experience, we have them as our third category of members. So really, being the benefits of a paid member helps to advocate for the association. It helps to advance the association's activities. It also helps to get, member-led communication, because there's stuff that happens in the background that would like our members to be engaged with. It also enhances our global engagement. I don't know, Cisse, if you know, but we are quite, recognized under the BAME Nursing and Midwifery Association. And it also helps to improve our soft skills. And this is something that we have picked up recently, in the clinical area, but also, improving your clinical practice, because we have bespoke activities. For those who are newly joining the UK healthcare workforce, whether in the NHS or private, we have a separate link for you, because we are realized that we have a 90-day integration program that would, we want to go through with you first before you kind of step into being, a paid member. So for anyone who has just come into the UK, anyone who has just recently qualified, please get in touch. We have a set of senior mentors who will help you through a 90-day integration program.
That sounds like it's really helpful. So if you're out there and you've just started working in the NHS recently, don't miss this opportunity, because the beginning is the hardest. Everyone knows that. The beginning is the hardest, because things are not the same as they are back home as they are in the UK. So please do reach out.
Yeah, but also it's not just about those who are working in the NHS, because many of our colleagues work in the social sector. So we're very not to exclude anyone. So whether you're working in the NHS or the social sector or even the independent sector. I was working in the independent sector for like 7 years. So yeah, you're not just only in the NHS, but
if you're a nurse,
yes. So either nurses or midwives or those working towards becoming, registered nurses and midwives.
Right.
Yeah, I think the allied are also creating their own association, just like the doctor. Yeah.
So if someone is out there and they're in Uganda and they want to work as a nurse in the UK, how can you advise them?
See, that's a big question.
It's so big, I know.
It is not big, but no, have two hats on to answer this question, because there's some information I'm privy to, which I cannot share at the moment. And then there's some general information that, I can share. But what I can say is, we've been actively, working with both governments to make sure that our unemployed nurses and midwives, our colleagues in Uganda, can come and work in the health sector in the UK, and majorly, the NHS. And so how does one come to work in the UK?
Generally.
Everyone, and regardless of who, and because this is what we're doing, we're helping people to come, is first things first. You need to do your IELTS, your English. And that is something that is a barrier to many.
It's a huge barrier. It's a huge barrier. I know someone, I have a family member who has struggled with the IELTS. They've done the IELTS, and it's like, the writing. So I think if you're out there, take it seriously.
Yeah, so for us, what we've done when we started this conversation as UNMA, is we reached out to different stakeholders. One of the things we highlighted actually was that this test is kind of discriminatory in a way, because it's asking you to answer questions in a language that you're not familiar with, because the English spoken in the UK is not the same as the one we are used to. I mean, I even tease and say, I've been here now 20 years, but I probably could fail the IELTS if I took it. I came at the time when it wasn't a big deal. And I just needed to, to prove my qualifications. But I think if I did it now, even though I've been trained to speak clearly because I've been in, in the audiology sector, I have worked in the UK quite a while. If I did it, I may fail. So one of the challenges we realized was that how can we support our colleagues to pass it the first time? So we linked out with another stakeholder, a lady called Louis. She's based in Uganda. She used to actually run these courses at the British Council. She's so good. And basically said, you need to do me a deal for any nurse who comes to you and either mentions my name or the association, please, can you give them a better discount? So we negotiated the price. And this is kind of like a coaching, because we obviously cannot, fund this, but at least help our colleagues to be able to pass it the first time. Because I'll share this. I don't know if I've shared with you, Cici, that when our colleagues from Kenya signed the MOU very recently, last year, and their government put out a call for nurses who want to come and work in the UK. Out of 30,000 who signed up, guess how many actually passed the IELTS?
Like 5,000?
Nope.
Maybe 2,000?
Nope.
What? Less?
Yes.
Out of 30,000?
30.
What? There's something wrong. It's like I just want to make money. I don't know. Like, what's happening? And yet,
but all I say, so by having this coaching, it prepares you, and it gets, because normally we just say, oh, English test, I can do that. No, it's actually different. It's looking at 4 areas: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And because it's a communication in our daily practice in the UK is very, very important. It's one of the biggest skills you require to be able to communicate with your multidisciplinary team members, to be able to communicate with your patients, their carers. Your English has to be good. And so we, for my colleagues in Uganda, please to Louis. He will assess you, get you ready. It could take 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month, and then let her assess you, get you ready to a point where you can actually sign up for the examination and pass the first time. And that's the challenge. And although 7, which is the minimum score, looks easy to achieve, it's actually very difficult. Like you've shared, I get results where people are like 7, 7, 7, 6.5, 6, 6, 6, 6.5, and they are good. These are degree holders, but their IELTS letting them down. So first things first, do your IELTS. And in fact, I've reached a point where I'm like, I only want to talk to people who have done their IELTS before the whole process, because then it minimizes the anxiety and the prolonging of the process, because that is one huge barrier, and it's mandatory. There's nothing we can do about it. However, as a consortium, we have challenged the NMC on that high score. And now there's actually a consultation, which is now in its final stages, to say, how can we best implement this? Because for Ireland is 5. Why would be UK or England be 7? Yet it's one country.
Does that mean it's easier if someone wants to work as a nurse, they can as well try there than England?
Yep. Many colleagues from Philippines have done that. Yeah, because it's and so when we raised that, it made them realize that it is, when we say it's discriminatory, it is discriminatory. And hence they started this consultation, which has gone on for quite a while now, actually. So we are banging on to say we want the results now, because, they still need, the nurses and midwives. And yet this is one barrier that if they take it away, hopefully many more colleagues will come.
I think that's such a cool option. If you're out there and you're struggling, maybe consider Northern Ireland and consider there, because obviously that's the biggest barrier. Because even me, I failed. I was getting 6.5. Like I passed on my 3rd attempt and I was already in the UK. So really, it can be hard.
Yeah, but also I think you need a network, and you need to talk to other people, because sometimes we find that someone starts a process, they keep quiet. Then when they reach a bump, that's when they're like, oh, by the way, and they're so far in the process, you don't even know how to start, helping them. So what I encourage people is say, once you start the process, let us know. Just tell us. You don't have to give us all the details. Just say, by the way, because there's a lot of information you'll need, and there's a lot of stuff that you'll not even get anywhere unless you really actively look for it. And I also say, Cici, maybe I was going to say this in my closing, but there is racism and discrimination in the health sector, in the NHS. And I don't shy away from mentioning that because I've experienced it. And I tell my leaders everywhere I go to say, yeah, but how are we supporting and how are we retaining and how are we attracting and how are we going to make sure that we integrate, our colleagues, that they can, be part and parcel of the workforce. So, and that was my research. So I do say, wherever you're going, just know you're probably not going to be welcomed on the red carpet. If you are, great stuff, but talk to someone, tell us, talk to, anybody, and reach out to say, this is what you're doing. Because we'll know people in different hospitals that you can connect with. We'll know leaders who will be aware of something that they can share that information with you, etc. So, tamukola ebintu, musilent, mogere.
So then after doing IELTS, what's the next exam?
So now, having started this, carefully for us, once you pass the IELTS, that's going to determine what kind of a role you're going to apply for, essentially. For the qualified nurses, it has to be 7. So there we can then, from UNAMCA's point of view, put you forward an employer for an interview as a Band 5 RGN. And then you have to do the CBT test in country, which is in Uganda, which is done at Makerere University. Unfortunately, that is a standard price. We have tried. We have tried to see how we can negotiate that, Sisi. For me, I'm one person who can advocate for nurses to all sorts of places. We've tried to reach out to say, how can we support these are unemployed. Remember, I'm talking about the unemployed nurses and midwives, not those who are in the job, please. I don't want to get, our government in trouble and our leaders. We're looking at the unemployed nurses, the surplus that we've got. But unfortunately, that is the standard fee. They cannot, they told me we cannot give preference for Uganda. This is standard across. So
what's the fee? What's the fee?
The CBT test is £83 for the first part. And then part 2, which is the OSCEs, which you do it, when now you're in the UK. And sometimes this can be covered by your employer, is £794, which is the computer-based test. Yeah, that's the standard fee. And essentially, there are about 110, 120 questions. It's a proper exam. It's 4 hours maximum. And you've got to pass at least, the last time I checked was 65% to pass. And but you get a maximum of 2 receipts. So you could, you can do it again. If you like, in a certain period of time. I think maybe it's a month or 2. I'm not sure, because things are always changing. That one is when you're doing it in country, which is in Uganda. Then you have part 2 when you come. Yeah, for us as a professional body, we need to, if you decide to make contact with us, we have a verification process, an internal verification process that we carry out. And that, involves actually going back to the UNMC, Nursing Council, to double check that indeed we are talking to someone who is, registered with the council, and then we can, be confident to carry the conversation forward. So we do that internally. There is a little fee, because then otherwise we are jeopardizing
your reputation.
Our reputation. And because for the UK has a mandate, if you like, as soon as you're nurse and midwifery, one thing is public safety, protecting the public, whatever it is. You cannot, it's one profession where you can't just put your hat down, everywhere you are, you have to be mindful of, okay, how am I, protecting my registration? So we cannot even be seen, to, support anyone who is not registered with the council. And what we, so I work very closely with the registrar on that regard to say, these are the names I've got, but can you please double check, for us? And then, she does the process. Yeah.
So
Because once Sisi, once you're here and you're in front of a patient and you're not able to safely care for them, that's it.
So if you have your papers from NASA, please don't bother.
Yeah, whatever you give us, get all the paperwork and send it to UNMC. I know it's an opportunity for people to come and say also them they are Masawo, but my friend, so it is our turn. That's what I say. It's our turn to say now it's time for nurses and midwives. So let us try and utilize our space.
So I think you've explained it very clearly. Honestly, that process is quite clear. What type of nurses from Uganda, because I know we have different levels of nursing in Uganda, which ones are able to come through this process and which ones maybe it might be a little bit harder.
There are obviously two routes to come to work in the UK. Privately, like all of us did. I came as a student. And that one, you go through, the hoops as you wish. You may have an agency that is, recruiting and all that, but that is on a private arrangement. And then the other is the one that we are working on, which is the government-to-government arrangement. Now, when you look at the role or responsibilities of a registered nurse and midwife in the UK, it matches what a BSN or degree holder would have in Uganda, which is a band 5 role. So in the UK, they scrap, diploma levels, and everyone has to kind of start from, like, if you like a top up, they used to call it top up. So degree holder, ESN level. Now in Uganda, I know our system is still growing. We have enrolled nurses, comprehensive nurses, diploma holders, degree, masters, and all that. And they're very highly skilled, very experienced, and all that. My advice and on my assessment has been that if you have the experience and you have passed your IELTS and you're competent, meaning you can work in this kind of environment, there is no, you can't be stopped. Your skills are with you and your qualification is with you. However, the challenge may come with an employer saying, okay, you only have a diploma. Do you have any, career development that you want to do to enhance that to a degree level? So on paper, it may look like you have a diploma, but maybe you've been working for the last 10 years, and that is something, that is your strength. That is something that you can, emphasize on and kind of not talk about your diploma too much. So in general, our diploma holders are very good. We have very few diploma holders. And, even the UK is aware that most, in fact, I think it is, the last time I looked, it was 65% of the workforce of the registrants on the UNMC register are diploma holders. So those are the majority we have. So anyone with a diploma, you can come and work. But, like I've said again, when you start the process, let us know, because then we can guide you on how you can attempt to answer that tricky question, successfully, because it's one that is, they're aware that you need to have a degree. So you want to make sure you pass, as though, although you don't have it as a qualification, you're either working towards it or even excel, but just because you need to do that paper. So degree holders and diploma level, are good to go. For enrolled, I'm not quite sure yet, because when I've looked at the curriculum, there's a few things missing, things like, on leadership, and management. So there are some challenges around enrolled nurses at the moment.
What about universities, the training institutions? Does it matter which training institution you went to? Because I know we have so many in Uganda. Or it's all about your qualification at the end. Does it matter which one, where you went?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because now, so first thing first for me, what I actually do when I look at people's certificates, I go to the UNMC website to see, is this institute recognized by the Ugandan government? If not, you may as well.
Important, yeah. You can't just be trained by your cousin somewhere. And
yes. So the thing is, Africans, and this is why I say that's why WHO has these bans on our countries, unfortunately, that we need to mature, if you like, and recognize why these parameters are put in place. Although you may be able to kangambe in Uganda, no, because it's other cheaper apply because you're in Uganda, it's fine. Now you reach a place beyond Uganda, that cheaper cannot help you. You get what I mean? Yeah. So you may have our systems in country may not be able to verify. We don't have that human resource. No, is it a school? Tetuina that maybe tetuina that that capacity. Now you reach this other side where they have that capacity and they are going to double check. And then because I've got people who have come and they have done like a course with not mentioning providers, like a first aid course here and a whatever course there. But then when you look, these centers or these institutes don't have that mandate. Not even with a higher training institute, And so, although it looks like you have done first aid and maybe you have picked those skills up, but the provider is not what? Recognized. And I think it's a call to all of us to say, before you pay your fees, double check that this institute is legit, because, this is for some people. So that's double check. So it is important, Sisi, that where you get your training is actually a recognized institute, because even here in the UK, one question they ask you, where did you get the qualification? What body? Because they can verify all this information.
What if someone is applying for jobs now? Any advice? If they are an individual, you've already told us about the CV, they should work on their CV.
Yes. So the advice is, well, right now, the most hospitals are not recruiting actively, actually, from, overseas. A few are. If you're a country that is on the red list, they cannot. Uganda is still on the red list, but we are working on that. Right now, that's why many people are getting frustrated, because they're applying, but they are not being picked for interview. And that is the reason why. So, advice to anyone who is in the process of applying, contact us, because for us we have inside information that help you, and also, although you may get the link on the job, there are other ways of doing it. So at the moment, because Uganda is still on the red list, unfortunately, or institutes are not actively recruiting that way. But also, like how I shared about the IELTS, our Luzungu is different. Even I have had to tweak my statements, Sisi. And I've told you, I've been here 20 years. But the way we write our statements in our Luzungu is different. And it has now come out, actually, because of this unfair treatment and discriminatory practice, that even some of our statements, someone can read and say, oh, no. Luzungu is, and then they put it aside. So even just that simple, how do you write your cover statement or your personal statement, that help, we require that help in order to make our applications stand out. Now, I'm sure there are many people who have gone through all this and maybe they've even reached interview. Then also there is that mentorship for preparing interviews. Again, it is now coming to light that, okay, you know what? There are certain questions and there are certain ways of answering them. I was shocked actually the other day when a very senior leader actually in Uganda told me of an experience where the they were interviewing for a very high post, actually. And when they asked them one question, tell us about yourself, you don't start talking about, I was born, Manya, in a family of 7, and I went to this primary school. No, but you see, the question is saying, tell us about yourself. So in a sense, you are telling the interviewer about yourself, but that's not what the question is asking for. So there certain tips that we can share with the individual who is in that process. And if they like, they can, reach out to us. So, but not to dismiss everyone, all our chances and our luck is different, right? Our blessings are different. So see the application, read the job description. If you feel like you can meet that, apply. But however, if you need some help and support and guidance, we are also here.
There are many pros of working in UK. I will link a video that I made up here so that we don't go so much into that. But one of the main pros, in my opinion, would be maybe salary. How much salary can someone expect on average if they're working as a nurse? And is it enough to live in UK? Because they're not working in UK and going to live in Uganda.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, that's a tricky question because I'm sure if your viewers have been following, there's been pay disputes for nurses and midwives right now in the news. So the RSCN has been, striking, RSCN members striking that the pay is not enough for London. Obviously, you have to put things in context, and you're rightly saying that, is it enough for, someone working in the UK versus one in Uganda? Absolutely. I mean, I'm talking about, for me, I'm advocating in this space of international recruitment, I'm advocating for my unemployed nurses and midwives in Uganda, those who have qualified and for so many reasons, they have got jobs, they're not being able to filter through the public sector and etc. You're coming from 0 to something. So that is positive. Now for a band 5, which is now, we have actually 9 bands. So you start from band 2, 3, 4 and not registered. So they are, let me say, like healthcare assistants, Then from band 5 to 9 are the ones who are registered. We call them RGN, registered with the Nursing and Midwifery Council. So they are on the registry. So band 5 is the basic. I think in Uganda it is the U5, something like that. If you're London, it could start from about 25,000 pounds per year up to 32. Now, if you're out of London, it's less, 1,500 pounds a month, give or take. Unlike in our Ugandan structure, we have certain, bills that are mandatory. You can't run away from them, basically. Yeah, access and things like that. You're not paid into your mobile money, or you're paid to a proper HR structure. And so by the time you get your salary for the month after taxes on the 1.5, it may come to 1,000 pounds. And I've had stories through this this period of international recruitment, CISE, where our colleagues from other countries have come, obviously with that excitement, like you're saying, how much money do I earn? 1,000 pounds, that's quite a lot of money, but they've come with maybe agencies and they've not read the contract properly, and they end up, the agency may have put in there a clause that you're going to pay, I don't know, 500 pounds per month for the next 3 or 4 months. Because remember, the agency actually is investing in you to help you come. And so they need to take their money back. Because of excitement, it's out there. It's not me who say, so by the time the salary comes, you realize on the money that you thought you were going to earn, you have 400 pounds and you've left your family at home. And now you have to pay your rent and So this is what I'm saying. It's important to talk to someone. It's important to reach out and share with us. But however, you could end up at least with 1,200 pounds a month, which is good money. London, the cost of living is high, Sisi, as you know. Transport alone, yeah. We don't have boda. Yeah, we don't have boda of kumi bidi. No, we don't. So transport is expensive. If you're to live in zone 1 on 2, which is central London, transport is high, but that's where some good hospitals are. So you end up moving out and living out of London, which is cheaper, but then you have a commute journey, time and money. But again, I don't want to make it so complicated. The pay is good, but depending on where you live is relative. That. And also, after you finish your preceptorship or mentorship period, you can do bank, which is extra agency work, and you can top up because there's shortage. There's a lot of shortage. So once you're stabilized and you know what you're doing and you're confident to book and do extra work, you can go extra work. However, also that's like a challenge, Sisi, in terms of concentration, right? So many of our colleagues also get into trouble because you don't want to overstretch yourself as well, but you want to be able to balance. Nursing is diverse in terms of salary as well, but in terms of roles. Some roles are much have better pay. Obviously, those are senior roles, but we know colleagues from another, association where within 6 months, they're able to progress and they're able to, go to the higher band when they've just come in the country. And that is the kind of support we want to give our colleagues, because one thing we realized was that when you come from our countries, you're put on this lower band that I was talking to you about, band 5, and you can be there for like ages, for 10 years, because of this unfair treatment. But we're saying, no, some of these, our colleagues are coming as senior nurses, senior managers, in the home countries. Why are you then, de-skilling them to stay on this band ages? So what now we are getting into practice, and they're getting into practice and they're listening, is that you can then be reassessed. So if you're a nurse there, you've been managing, center 3, 4, and you have all this experience, you come. We are advocating that after 6 months, you're able to show your skills. They should be able to, adapt your contract so that you're not on a band 5, but you're able to go back to, what you are doing back home, but in a different setting, and get the money you deserve, because those are your skills. No one can take them away from you.
We have got pros, we have got cons, and we've also got the process. So as an individual, obviously, you're out there, you make your decision and you see if it's a good decision for you. At least if you decide that this is a journey you want to take, then you know that there is help out there. Don't just start from zero. Don't ever move in silence. Ask for help and you will be helped. So thank you so much, Elizabeth.
I didn't think I was going to stay in the UK this long. So you come prepared thinking, oh, after 2-3 years, I'm going to go. So all I would say is now have a vision, what you want to do. I think that is important. So it gives you purpose, it gives you direction. Have mentors. Again, that is something I've learned, that, you come, you're excited. I was over 20 and it's like, I'm going abroad, I'm going to, you're not thinking, but again, we learn by experience. So what I'm saying is have a mentor, someone you can talk to, someone who can guide you to give you direction in what you want to do and help you, develop, whether it's a mentor or a coach. And now I'm understanding even you have sponsors. So have who can guide you. And there's so many people in our midst that we need to, take advantage of. If it is Sisi, please get to, to Sisi. If it's myself, I'm also here, and so many others. But talk to someone who can offer some guidance. I see it as an opportunity. It's a blessed opportunity. I'm a believer, so it says God gives you, God does not give you what you cannot handle, but also that, you're blessed to be a blessing. So if God has blessed you to be the best profession in the world, by the way, sorry, Sisi, as a nurse and midwife.
I agree.
It's a blessing. And so utilize it as a blessing, because there may be challenge situations where you find that, am I in the right profession, is this the right thing? But if you see it in a positive way, at least, they will always be aware that you work through it, for the better. But for me, I see it as an opportunity, that if you're blessed, you bless others. So that's why we are here, UNAMCA, to signpost, to support, and really to be there for each other, because for long, like I was sharing with you, we've worked in silence, we've done things in silence, and where has that got, us not very far. But there is strength in unity. So please, we are not the best, we're also learning. So if you find that there's a roadblock somewhere, don't give up, because nothing, we are just finding our fit, if you like, but we work together, and we are learning together. So feel free to reach out, and yeah, it's great. But we've done a pastoral booklet as well, Sissy, that gives a snapshot of what to expect. And we have also put things there like where you can get your food, the local Ugandan food. So if you come and you feel, oh my gosh, because we've done all this study to say, how do we retain and integrate our colleagues? This is not just Uganda, yeah, but for many BAME healthcare workers. So we'll tell you where you get the matoke, the monde, the katunda. We'll tell you, it has information of where, because we know culturally, our belief and our prayers are very important. So we can signpost you which church to go to, depending on where you live in the country. We also have the link to our embassy, because they do a lot of information and stuff. Even now they started doing in Dagamuntu on site, at Trafalgar Square. We also have information of sightseeing, London. I mean, remember, you're coming to the UK, and it's not being rigid of, I've gone to work and no, you have to enjoy life as well. Yeah. So there's sightseeing to do, the places, and all over in Birmingham, Scotland, wherever, a lot. And now we are reaching out to different activities we can also do together, CC, as an association, where we can go and visit, for instance, our one of our founders, Mary Seaco's resting place, go to Florence Nightingale Museum, do things that make us feel, yeah, we
enjoy life.
You've come from Uganda, now you're in the UK, there are certain things you have to adapt. Yes, but sometimes for long people would be like, but you're congregating in Ugandan events, bakole everything. Uganda, UK. What does that mean?
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and now CC for us, our dinner, we eat 3-course meal. It's not matoke.
Integrate.
You know what I mean? Integration, exactly. But you see, we have to adapt, because there's that saying, maybe I'll end with it, to say, when you go to Rome, do as the Romans do. But things that we can pick up that can build us, and those are the ones we should take. And keep our identity, and those that don't fit, we keep them for others.
Thank you so much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, please do comment below, and I will ask Elizabeth and come and answer them. And if you know someone who you think that will benefit by watching this video, share it with them. You never know, it might be to help that person, not even you who has watched. So thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Yeah, thank you so much, CC, and God bless. Strength in unity.